It wasn't because, he was crying. It was because he was crying for no reason. Like, I have a problem with you crying for a purpose, but when you crying just because he was crying because he thinks chicken noodles is yuck, and he thought I was going to make something else for dinner, and I said, I'm not. This is dinner. You either eat it or you don't. So he cried. And I was over it. And I was like, you keep crying. You cry for. Okay. So that was that one. But the other one was as a Black woman in education, and this is my 20th year in education. Most of those years were in predominantly white spaces. Mm-hmm. And whenever there is, difficult conversations, like, I am a loud person. Like, I come from a single family home and my mother is loud. And so I'm loud. And so we're just loud people. And I'm emotional. And so I think sometimes people think I'm loud about a situation, which if I'm passionate about something, I tend to, my volume increases. Mm-hmm. But then it's like, oh, now you're an angry Black girl and ain't nobody listening to the words that are coming out of my mouth because mm-hmm. it's the angry Black girl that, it's her again. And I'm like, yes, it is me again, because we keep having these same issues and y'all not getting it. And so eventually I realized I had to move myself out of those spaces because it wasn't healthy for me. Mm-hmm. So, since I've been an administrator for the last 6 years, I look at my first job I took up here, because I taught in Central Illinois and now I'm in the south suburbs of Chicago. And I was the first minority hired for a certified position in Frankfurt. And it was, eye-opening to see people of color that were not Black just gravitating towards me just because their children felt that they had someone they could, and, they may have been Asian or Indian, but they felt they could connect with me just because I wasn't white. But then to be in that same space with white families who felt the need to, well, you're ostracizing my child because they have to talk to you and you're Black and they just called a student a nigger. So you are singling them out. And I'm like, well, I am investigating the situation and I need to hear from them, their side of the story. But parents felt that I made their children feel some kind of way because I ostracized them because they had to talk to me and I was Black and I was forcing them to be racist. So I was just like, this ain't the space for me. Like, I'm not able to effectuate change in this space. And so I stayed my year, and now I've been with Joliet for the last few years. And it's funny because I had a situation in Joliet. Like, so people who know me, and I'm me everywhere I go. So regardless of the title, you get what you get. I'm a Southside girl from Chicago. That's a Delta, and I rep my set all day, whenever spaces are allowed. And I had the principal that hired me was an amazing Mexican-American woman who, while I was on maternity leave, had an opportunity to go with another district that was better for her and her family. So she, in turn, encouraged me to apply to be her replacement, even though I had only been with the district a year. Mm-hmm. There was someone that had been let go from the district that was rehired and ended up being her replacement.
Sure.
But I had to, be her assistant principal. Mm-hmm. And, within that space, she was, she came to me like, well, I know you were, second runner up to have this position, but I think you can learn a lot from me. And, I just took it at face value, like, okay, yes, maybe I will learn a lot from you because, you've had some other experiences. I'm open to learn.
Mm-hmm.
But with me, I am not the type of person that I have a superior, but if you're asking me to do something that is detrimental to children, I'm not doing it. And so we continue to have issues. When I saw that ethically and morally, we were not on the same level, I tried to reach out to be placed somewhere else. But, I had to stay, and I continued to, fight for our students. Well, that turned into, by the time the end of the year came, this person who spoke highly about me to me whenever we would talk, real things, told me, well, I'm recommending that the school board let you go because I don't think you're doing anything for this school.
Sure.
Mind you, I had been the only administrator for the first 3 months of school, and everything that was in place, I put in place. And I had a whole binder of evidence, but, I was told, and I was like, well, this is supposed to be a discussion because this is a conference, but she didn't want to engage in dialogue.
Mm-hmm.
So, basically I was told, well, you're an at-will employee, so you either accept the termination or you resign.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, all right, well, those are my options. Here's my resignation letter. Good luck with life. I'm going to finish out, this school year. But because I'm the type of person that if I'm assigned to do a job, I'm going to do the job to the best of my ability until my time is up. And
Sure.
So I continued to do so. And, she continued to have some issues. And eventually I was able to, be in other places and not have to occupy a space with her until my time was up. Well, situations arose, and because I wasn't there to support her, she missed out on some things. And then it came about like, oh, your character, even through all of this, you still stood up for students, you still supported families, you still did this. And then it was like, well, we don't want you to go, here's another job. But it was still never addressed. And it's like, oh, so you just an angry Black girl, you supposed to deal with it, but we pushed it under the rug and now you got a job, so let it go. And it's like, we have to be in those types of spaces. And, we're looked at like we're less than or not enough for someone else.
Well, and what I hear you saying is that you felt invalidated at that moment. And so, and to just circle back, when we think about telling children because they don't like something, they can't feel sad about it. And so I'm going back to the original statement of cry, or I'm going to give you something to cry about. For you, crying about chicken noodle soup was not a big deal, but for him being 4 or 5, it hurt his feelings. And so the message there is that how you feel is valid, because we want to make sure that we are validating the people we love. The lesson behind it is, but this is what we have to eat. Maybe we can do something differently, but we never want your son to feel invalidated as you did in the workplace when they would not listen to your concerns, or it kind of just brushed past what you were struggling with. And so I just wanted to circle back to that, because I was raised in the same household, and for me, it's a lot of breaking generational curses, because I didn't like it, but as an adult, as a parent, it made sense to say that to someone, but then also recognizing I don't get to pick someone else's emotions. I can't tell someone else that they should not be sad, because that particular thing would not make me sad. So, but for the sake of time.
And Carla, you gotta, you have a raised hand. I think I need to see your hand.
Where's that at?
Oh no, it's okay. I can see it.
Okay.
Want to say something? If not, we're moving on.
Come on, Anissa Fee.